Well, that's what she looks like after 4 coats. 4 coats. And I thought it might get a little streaky. Got to watch out for the edges too, man. You can get dips really easy. You can see some of my marks under there. I'll show you something that's really crazy with bamboo. If you leave any of your 50 grit, it will pop the scratch. Where'd it go? It's there somewhere. Anyways, let me see if I can get one next to the edge. I can't see any. All right. But yeah, you got to be careful, man. You got to make sure you do a good sanding job. It'll leave, it's funny, it'll actually just pop the scratch from the sandpaper. It'll leave the sandpaper mark. It pops it up. It's crazy. So definitely want to make sure you finish with a 100 to a 120, and don't leave any 36 or any 50 or 60. I'm trying to find one. I walked right in, and it was right. Can't see it. I can't see it now, but the way the sunlight hit it, you could see it. It's the damnedest thing, man. It won't show us. You can't see it from the surface too well, but in the light you can see it. So, yeah, but I've let it sit a couple days before I come back in. And I thought it was going to be a little streaky, but the vertical grain is a little more forgiving. But yeah, trying to show it. It looks good. It looks good. You know, I don't see too many drag marks. Bamboo, tack it. Just keep tacking it. There's nothing to hide any of the particulates that you get left behind. Vacuum your walls. We had plastic up on all of this because it's just holding dust, and just a breeze coming by will move stuff. So we had that all plastic. I still got to take this down here. All the clothes. Yeah, it's yeah. So tack. In some cases, in some floors, they say sometimes you over tack it. Sorry, I'm pulling the plastic. You can over tack it, and it seems to make it worse. I don't know. But oak floors, we tack maximum twice. This bamboo floor, we tacked twice on the sides, and then 3 times in the field, and it got vacuumed twice. So, yeah. And then planning your way out, super important. So we did the 2 bedrooms. We had a tape. We did the 2 bedrooms, hopped over here, started over there. I got like to right there. And then Edgar hopped over here and started over here in the kitchen. And he cut all that in, poured my line and my puddle. I did about 3 feet. Hopped over here, started pulling it this way. Kept hopping back and forth, pulling it. Got down here. Shot down here, cut that in next to my tape line really good. It was coming down. By that time, I'm probably right about here in the kitchen, maybe the middle of the door there. And we just keep working that way and working this way. And then as I got to right about here, as you can see, I came together, back down, came down to this wall over here. and then just backed out and went out that side there. So it wasn't too bad, just timing it. So I always do 4 coats or a stain in 3 coats. So by that time, by the final coat, you've pretty much got it figured out where you need to be when you're coating here, and then you're going to hop over to the kitchen and start coming towards you here. So we had tape on all the concrete areas here. You want to make sure that you pull the tape up after each coat. If not, it will build and it will leave a heck of a, it's a pain to get off of there with 4 coats up to your tape. So after 2 coats, we pulled the tape, retaped it, pulled it again, then final coat, we put down some tape, and I came back today and pulled it up. Traffic doesn't like to peel too well. So you got to be real careful when you're pulling that tape that you take your knife and you follow the edge of it. So you get a nice cut line there. If not, you can pull that finish up in that grout there, and it'll pull up into the bamboo sometimes if you're not careful. So yeah, anyways, so that's it. It looks good. Turned out nice. Yeah. We did the final coat on Saturday, so I didn't come back up here on Sunday, and so I always get a little anxious. I like to get back on these jobs to see how they look. We have, on occasion in the past, have to do another coat. Something goes wrong or whatever, but yeah. Haven't done bamboo in a while, so all these little nuances, you kind of forget some of them, and I forgot that got to be really good about making sure you get all that 36 and those 50 marks out. We palm sanded everything to 120 with a screen with 5-inch Norton, the blue Velcro screen. Stuff works nice. We also use Diablo red heat. We use the red heat. Screens, the red ones, 120, they work well. Let's see. Yeah, you can see that's shiny. No swirls, nothing. So, anyways, let's get out of here. Oh, this one turned out okay. Thank God. Thank God. You know, you try really hard and you just never know. You know, you try really hard. I got a job right now where we did it a few months ago, and I wanted them to pull the baseboards, and they didn't. And so we just left them up and taped to them. And anyways, they taped to paint afterwards, and the tape pulled some of our finish off the stain. So it was bonus special walnut and water base on top. So it pulled in a couple spots, which is not too bad, but I don't like that. So we're going to go back and touch that up for her. So anyways, we do the best we can. You know, we wipe our stain real well, and then put our coats down, and we sand. We hand sand around the edges, you know, edges of the walls, and next to the baseboard, we'll actually run our sandpaper of 1 inch. We'll actually run it against the wood, get a nice scratch pattern. So if they got to put tape down, but the tape pulled at the stain, so just in a couple spots. So a big job, wasn't perfect. So hopefully she's not. She just asked if I could come over and touch it up. So I'm just going to keep my mouth shut and go touch it up for her and see what happens. But, yeah, it's a bummer. Never had that happen. So, but if you think about it, there was a lot of walls to be taping. So she said she's got a few more still to do. And I told her not to use any tape, and she's like, "Oh, that's going to be a pain." like, yeah, it's gonna be a pain, all right. It was a pain because you left the baseboards on, you know. I didn't complain. So hopefully she'll figure out how to cut in herself. I'll show her how to use a putty knife to cut in and see if that'll help her out a little bit. So yeah, I always like to have those baseboards off. It was an old floor too, so I don't think we had any problems on the new side that we did, but all on the old floor. So could have been a little bit of stain in the cracks next to the edge. Who knows? I'm gonna head over there on Wednesday and touch up a few of those spots for her. See what happens. It was a we did a matte finish, so that'll help me out a little bit. But you can definitely tell where the finish pulled. The stain is a different color. It doesn't have that kind of dull look on top of it. So anyways, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. We were down doing that install with that red oak floor, and had to come up here and double check and hang doors and everything. So everything turned out okay. Anyways, I'll get this posted and I'll see you guys on the next one.